and welcome back to The Challengers. My name is Eric, and I'm the Game Master, and with me is Chris and Brent. Brandon will be here momentarily. He is running a little late with the holiday. Working retail sometimes sucks.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So, and then we will be without Shannon tonight, so she's a little under the weather. Oh, that reminds me, I did not change something, so, oh well, oops. Yeah, your screen may say lunch and crawl, but that is not correct. It's we're actually the Challengers. Let me see if I can change that real quick so people don't get too confused. Chris, you want to... Yeah, what's going on? Let's see here. Where am I at? There I am. Okay. Now I might get all kinds of weird sound here, so I'm going to try and switch this up real quick before I get too much. Okay. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties here, but bear with us one moment.
And we don't mean brown or black. We're talking full-on grizzly. No polar. So bear with us that way.
Yes. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're updated. Sorry about that, folks. Yes, we are the Challengers. Where we left off with last session was... the Challengers had responded to a information. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. No, I say we had received essentially a mission request. There was a few things going on in relation to something. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it had to do with information that related to the bomb incident from Session 0, which actually spawned the Challengers. We were returned to the scene of the quote-unquote crime, I guess you could say, the place where the bomb went off, the island of Barbago, I believe?
Barbago, correct, sir.
Barbago. And the bomb had some interesting effects in the sense that it destroyed all life, but not necessarily physical property. From there, we met with Colonel. I can't remember if the Colonel was Old Brown Eye or if the person giving us the information was Old Brown Eye.
Old Brown Eye.
That's part I'm a little.
Yeah, Old Brown Eye is is your butler, chauffeur, pilot. Yeah, the Colonel was. Let me get my notes together here. Yes, it's Colonel Harry Richard Ringer.
Yes. There we go. And from there, we learned that an organization which we believed to think either had ties to Malice or was Malice itself had a base in the Arctic where an individual who was also providing us some information had escaped from.
Correct.
We flew in our Challenger jet, and we dropped ourselves off at the base, although Arctic Fire flew in while the rest of us were getting dropped off, and she was promptly attacked by a huge robo-spider.
Yes.
And at that point, the Challengers unleashed their full fury against the robo-spider, and between myself, Yokozuna, and Arctic Fire, we were able to take out not one, but two of these giant robo-spiders. And I believe that's where we left off as we were about to descend into this brown hole in the ground.
Well, yeah.
In the Antarctic.
Yes, there was the very last thing that you encountered, or what you saw after you had dispatched the two robo walkers, was you saw a squad of hover tanks coming over the mountains and coming in your direction from the south. So where we left off tactically was that, yes, there's the hole that looks like it had burrowed into the ice. It had this brown residue around it. Initially, Arctic Fire looked at it and assumed that it was soil, but it was actually something synthetic. And she didn't have a whole lot of time to analyze it, because after that point, that's when the second walker made its appearance. So, as some of you have no doubt noticed, we have a new player playing Yokozuna. Brent is here, and Gage played Yokozuna last week. He stepped up and helped us out, and now Brent is assuming the role. So welcome, Brent. Really appreciate you stepping up and playing the big man.
Well, it comes natural. I'm roughly that size, just a little shorter.
Yokozuna's a pretty big dude, so Brent has never played Mutants Masterminds before, so that's okay. Like I was telling him before we actually went live, we're running this a little loosey-goosey when it comes to rules. We are using the Mutants Masterminds rule set, but I'm not expecting the players to be experts at the rules. It's point and shoot. That's what we're kind of doing here. You tell me what you want to do, and we'll make the rules work for it.
And Brent, you don't need to feel bad, because I have only 3 sessions more experience than you, and that includes this session right now.
So, and also, when just full disclosure, when Brandon does show up, our screen might get a little funky. So I apologize for that, as I'll have to readjust everybody's video feed to match their placement on the screen. So I apologize in advance for that happening. So where we left off, and what we'll say is that Arctic Fire is going to investigate the hole. Now, the hole that these robots came out of seemed rather big at first, but it tapered down quite a bit. And like I had described last time, when the second walker came out, the legs came out first, and it pulled itself into the open. So it's actually quite cramped down there. Way too small for someone like Yokozuna to fit in. So what we'll say is that Arctic Fire has decided that she will go into the hole to investigate, because she thinks that whatever the synthetic material is that's coating the outside of this hole could be of great importance, and that you guys should just go ahead and go on to where you need to go, and she will catch up as soon as she figures out the source of these of this anomaly. And like I said, as you're standing there, she kind of shimmies down into the hole, and then you see these hover tanks cresting the mountain range, headed your direction from the south. They are, let's see here. They are they're medium-sized tanks, but they're, if they were ground tanks, they'd probably be, probably 30 tons, something like that.
How many are we talking here? What kind of numbers?
You see 3 of them.
Just 3.
Mm-hmm. And they're in a formation, and they're flying above you to the point where if they have seen you, they haven't engaged yet.
The deception. Well, let's see. I'm going to look towards. Yokozuna. I'm not sure how we should take this. If this could be just more to supplement those spiders, or this could be our chance to get inside. I'm thinking maybe a wait and see approach might not be a bad idea here.
Yeah, we could wait, or we could distract them at least away from the hole.
That might not be a bad idea. Why don't you leap over this way? I'll see if I can get myself some cover and come up from their flank if they follow you. I'll look back and notice that Machismo is too busy admiring himself in the mirror. He seems a bit.
Yes, he is distracted with his. He's looking down, and there's where one of the robo spiders has laid on its side, like part of a side panel has come open, and it's reflective on the inside, and he's adjusting his look a little bit. But he said he looks at you and he says, "Oh, just yes, I will watch the hole to make sure that none of these other any more of these robots appear, or perhaps if they had sent out scouts, I'll make sure that nothing creeps up behind our lady friend."
I think, considering the circumstances, that's not a bad idea. I'm not too sure that her going down there by herself was too smart, but sometimes she acts a bit impetuous. I, as a deception, will go in the opposite direction, kind of at an angle away from these guys, and I'm going to attempt to illusion myself as to match the color and tone of the ice that's around me.
Okay.
I'll do the ice version of the bush that slowly moves away from things or towards things.
Okay. All right. So looking at the deception, you're doing your illusion power, which the illusion power is a passive, so you don't have to actively do anything. You just tell me what you want to do with it. And then one of your advantages to that is that it is psychic. And for those of you who don't know the power sets, what that means is that the deception makes the viewer see what they are kind of expecting to see, although you can adjust it a little bit. So what I will do is grab my dice, and we will see what is seen by the hover tank. All right. The tank commander, the lead tank, as it's moving, does not react to the deception's repositioning. Yokozuna, what are you doing?
I'm going to leap slightly towards the tanks, but also at an angle off to the side so that it creates a big impact of the snow and ice kind of pluming in the air.
Okay.
To see if it creates enough of a distraction.
Okay. All right. So there's no roll involved in that. So you're intentionally showing your location.
Correct.
Okay. So yes, you leap and you land and essentially just decimate a large chunk of ice, and it just, the plume of ice and frost kicks up into the air, and then when it starts to settle down, you're in your superhero pose, as you do see these three tanks reacting as it, so they obviously saw what saw you do that, at least saw something. And as they react, you see the turrets turn to react to your movement, and then like I said, there's three of them. So the one you landed on their right, the far right one's turret is now tracking you, whereas the other two turrets turn and face front again, and they continue to move. So they're almost completely over top of you now. One of them is tracking Yokozuna, just kind of like he's got his his rangefinder on Yokozuna so he can see him, and but he hasn't done anything, just like almost like probing what's going on over here. The other two, as they're hovering over you, they get almost completely over you, and then they both open fire. Boom, boom. But not at you.
Ooh.
Over your head, and because you're in a small valley, so over the other side of the valley, over the mountains, they're shooting at something.
But they're shooting further away than where I came from, it appears.
Yes, as if they're targeting something that is on the other side of the mountain range. And then, like I said, it's like boom, boom, and even though they're hovering, their forward momentum stops as their main cannons go off, boom, boom, and then they start to slowly move forward again. And you hear an impact or double impact moments later. Just
Is there? Can I look over there to see what it might be they're shooting at?
well, from your vantage point, you would have to actually clear the other part of the other side of the bowl. So the only way that you could see is maybe your options would be have Yokozuna carry you and leap over to the other side,
Right.
or you could use your harpoon, your magnetic harpoon, to one of the tanks and pull yourself up.
Ooh. You know what? I think I might do that. I like that idea. Let's see. Yeah, I'll use my my little baton and.
Okay. All right. So deception is going to ascend. That is a swing line. It's your movement action. So really all you need to do is make a ranged attack. So it's essentially it's a
Looks like looks like it says here it's dex based.
yes.
Although there doesn't appear to be a macro attached to it, so is it just a D20 then plus my bonus?
Yes, and it's not doing anything evasive. As a matter of fact, tanks are a slow-moving hover tank is not that hard to hit. So I'm going to go ahead, and besides, you're attacking from the bottom, so you have plenty of surface area, and it's not that far above you. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a +2 to your roll.
All right. Ooh, hey, that was a nat 20, man.
Nice. All right.
+3 is 23.
Nice. So we'll say that with the crit, what you do is as you shoot it and it hits in the rear part where the engine, where the hover discs are, and to the point where when it attaches, it hits it in a way that it doesn't even make a sound.
Nice.
So now you're surfing behind this hover tank, and as you start to ascend, you're using your swing line and going up, and now once you get about 10 meters below it, it's starting to ascend a little bit too to clear the last bit of the ridge, and what you see is on the other side of this mountain or this mountain range is another bowl or depression, and you see on the other side 3 more tanks are moving into position from another angle. So you've got these 3 going this way, and then looks like 3 are coming from like the northwest, and they start opening fire at something inside the bowl. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay, first of all, so do we have comms?
Yes, you do. Your super suits have low, short wave or short range
Sure.
radio. Yeah.
All right. Yokozuna, looks like we might have a change of plans. It seems that they're ignoring us and going after something else that's inside this bowl. I'm about to surf in there with them. I think maybe we should join up.
All right. Yokozuna will try to leap up to the top of the bowl there.
Okay. All right. That's very easily done. So you leap up to the other ridge line, and now you're looking down. So let's see here.
We getting a new map?
Yes. So let me switch over to our Roll20 screen. There you go, everybody. And now you are coming in. I'm going to have to make some adjustments because I had this set up for everybody being here. So let me bear with me 1 second as I remove Arctic Fire from. There we go. All right. So I'll have one of the tanks here is pulling you along. Here
Nice.
All right. There's the deception. So the deception, I'm going to put you in the back of that tank. And then Yokozuna, I'm going to have you appearing right here on this corner here. So those of you who are listening to this, it's a large bowl that has it's an ice, almost like a lake, So there's a coating of ice, and what you see as you're making your way closer is that there are groups of tanks. Each one of these tanks represents a squad, and they are moving in at three different directions. You didn't see the far one coming from the absolute north there. So 3 groups of tanks, and they are opening fire across the bowl to the far end of the bowl at some creatures, and you see them. You recognize them immediately as spider walkers. Here we go. All right. So the two of you see 2 of these spiders. Let me get back to my regular.
You'll need to throw us, make the screen visible to the players here.
Oh, sorry, dude.
That's all right.
My apologies. There. Whoops. And there you go. Okay. So as you can see, players, the here is the deception is tailing behind the tank at the bottom there on the bottom right, and then Yokozuna is coming in at the far right of this bowl. You have 2 groups of tanks beyond the original group that you were with, and then you have the spider walkers moving around in this bowl. And as I described them last time, they are long-legged, think like Doc Ock legs, and then a centralized spherical body with a stalk for a neck with an electric eye that pans around and looks for targets. So as you are seeing this, you also see on the ground in the bowl, you're seeing groups of these soldiers with submachine guns. Some of them have anti-tank weapons, and they're getting into position, and looks like they're getting ready to start opening fire on the on these walkers as well.
Can we see any insignia either on the tanks? What about the troopers? Are they dressed in the uniform of the Red Fist, which now I remember was the name of the group that's supposed to be down here at this base?
Yes, they are the Red Fist, and the tanks are red and black with the same color scheme. And now that you're closer to one of the hover tanks, you can see that the insignia on the side is in fact the Red Fist, which I will show to everyone again and the players.
Ah.
Whoops. There we go. The Red Fist. So those are the insignias that are on the side of the tanks.
Got it.
I'm going to resist the obvious horrible joke there.
All right. So what?
I think it'd be awesome.
Okay, so as you're approaching, the tanks are opening fire. The walkers are surprisingly fast, and they're moving around pretty quickly, avoiding the blasts of these tanks. And then you see their electric eyes are starting to pulse and crackle with energy, and then they start unleashing these blasts at the tanks that are the spider walker on the left is firing at the tanks on the left, and then the spider walker on the right is actually firing at the tanks in the middle. So they're not even targeting the tank or the tanks that you are closest to. All All right, so player characters, what are you going to do? And like I said, down in the bowl, you can see there are several of these Red Fist soldiers, and they are they're taking cover in a lot of the ice shards from these walkers. But you can see that they're setting up positions, and as you're observing this, the tanks are blasting away, the walkers are blasting with their electric eyes, and then you see a group of these soldiers down here. You see all of a sudden just there's a burst of energy, and you can tell that they have something on their backs that look like big backpacks, but then they leap into the air and then land farther away. So they have some sort of jump pack or jet pack or something short range enough where they go tsh, tsh, and then they land in more cover, just as an electric eye goes and melts the ice where they were just at. So player characters, what are you going to do?
I am going to look for some way to try and bring this the tank that I'm on to bring it down.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to suggest to and that let me push it into the spider.
Okay.
That works.
All right.
Well, you said there was a squad of tanks, or it's not just one individual tank?
Correct.
Right?
Each on the map, as you're looking at it, each tank icon represents 3 tanks. I didn't want the map to be too jumbled with icons, so that's why I did that. One other point of note is as you're looking at the map on the very top, there is what appears to be another cave with the brown residue on the outside, but this one is about 5 times bigger than the one that you saw before.
Got it. I'll not to meme, but why not both? Why don't you try pushing? I'll try and take this one out, and you're big enough. You probably could take the other 2.
We'll try that.
Okay. So, Deception, how are you thinking you're gonna drop this tank?
That's a really good question. Can I try and? All right, I'll tell you what I'd like to do. I'd like to try and maybe use my baton to attach on to, say, like the it's not the barrel, but the thing that sticks out.
The cannon?
The cannon, thank you. What the hell? And use it, and so I'll attach it, and maybe I swing myself around, and as I'm coming down, I'm trying to create some sort of momentum to pull it down and angled towards the ground.
Okay.
So I'd like to try and do something to steer it out of the way into the ground, and then get up on top of it so it doesn't crush me when it hits ground.
Okay. All right. So you're trying to throw the balance off.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and roll that. Let me open this up here. There's the deception. I'm going to actually move him over. Okay. Let's see. Let's look and see how we can do that. So you're going to essentially, using your swing line, you're trying, because it's a magnetic swing line, you're just kind of trying to use your body's momentum and maybe some of the pull of the device itself. I'm going to give you both an extra hero point, Brent, whenever you want to do something that's not on your character sheet. Kind of like what this is. That's what the hero points are for, is to do cool stuff that maybe like a one-time thing. So that's really exactly what Chris is doing here. Is you're adding what I'm going to say is like super strength to your swing line, and it's limited to just lifting. So it's not like you're going to do damage to this thing. You're just attempting to move it. So
yes.
Okay. what I'll have you do is you've already attached yourself to it in the rear, but you're adjusting your swing line to attach to the barrel of the cannon, correct? Okay.
Correct.
All right. So what I'll do is we'll say that you swing up and in a very Spider-Man style, you detach your harpoon there, and then you fire it again at the barrel. So I'm gonna have you make another attach roll, which is the dexterity based.
Okay. This will be just +1 this time.
Yes, because you're like in midair. Natural 20. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Another natural 20.
Somebody's hacked the system. There's some bullshit going on.
That's okay. I'm gonna get a 1 on my next attempt, and then I'm gonna end up getting crushed by this tank.
So what? Yeah. I'll say, natural 20. There's no denying what you just did. So you tell me what happens.
All right. So basically, I come up, and as I'm coming up over the back end of the tank, and my line is getting down to nothing, I noticed the Red Fist logo on here, and I confirm with Yokozuna this is the Red Fist, so this might be an enemy of my enemy situation. And I land, and just as a natural motion, Yokozuna says something like, "I've got the 2 on the right," and then I say, "Okay, all right, I'll get the leftovers," and I zip it out, get it in the perfect spot on the barrel that allows me to essentially leap off, and I make my swing once around, and I'm coming around now to the downside to get ready to pull. But I do it so I'm out of their visual sensor range, so they have no idea what's coming.
Okay. All right. And yeah, it actually starts to list like down into the left as you do that, and you can hear the hydraulics within in the turret is straining, and it's not used to having this much of a strain to it. For whatever reason, the strength of your baton is just overwhelming the hydraulic system. So it's definitely having some sort of adverse reaction to it that the driver is having trouble compensating for the weight shift. Do you have? Let's see. I want to take a quick look at your character sheet and.
No, I forbid.
Technology. I'll say, just basic technology. As you're looking at it, and you're like, normally a tank the human body weight wouldn't affect a tank in this way normally, because obviously it would be on the ground. So the only thing that probably makes sense is that whatever it's using to hover with can't withstand much more weight than it already has. So it's almost like on the red when it comes to its maximum weight allowance, and you harpooning to it kind of slowed it down a little bit, but not enough with the natural 20. It wasn't enough to throw it off balance, but you doing this really threw it off balance, and the driver's having a lot of trouble compensating for it. And it looks like on his turn he's going to have to try and right the ship there, or it's going to go down.
Nice.
So, all right. So that was the deception. So Yokozuna, one of the tanks is kind of going down into the left, and kind of that was the far right tank that you did that to. So the middle, it lists, and it actually starts to go almost like rams into the middle tank, but just barely clears it. Now it's almost completely underneath it as it's going the wrong direction. So Yokozuna, you have the lead tank, and then you have the tank to its left.
I want to get behind the one that's a little further back.
Okay.
And I want to try to push it down in towards the spider.
Okay. All right. Are you, when you get behind it, are you doing some sort of a move action to get to it and causing, pushing it that way, or are you jumping onto it and then trying to push it down? How are you going to move it?
Just run behind it, and then set up sumo style and push.
Okay.
Or use my leap action and force it to go.
You can do that. The leap action would work probably better for you because it's an actual attack, and you could actually damage the tank and move it at the same time. So if you look on your character sheet there, you have, I will call up your character sheet here. Yokozuna, you have your Furious Charge, which is your strength-based damage. You can you make that attack. So you're rolling your actual attack, which would be at a d20 plus 4.
All right.
And with your Furious Charge, 16 and above is considered a crit.
Well, damn it. Natural 1.
Oh, no.
Damn you, Chris. You took all the luck.
Sorry, I did. I called the next roll to be a 1, and I didn't know it would be yours. My bad.
All right. So what happens is you.
Sorry, fam.
So Yokozuna, you're like, you run and you see this hover tank, and it's about 10 feet above you at this point, and you're go to leap into it and just kind of slam, and for whatever reason it's reacting to the other tank that's going the wrong direction, and so it overcompensates. There's a separation, and you go right between them and land right in the middle of the ice lake. Boom! Right in the middle of the battle.
All righty.
Okay, so now it is the bad guys' turns. The tanks open fire. The tanks on the left, both squads are firing at the walkers, and the walker on the left looks like it's taking some damage, and it stops moving, and you see that its electric eye is kind of having trouble recharging, so it's kind of like recycling, like you saw the previous one do. And the soldiers see that, and they start opening fire, like concentrating their fire on the one on the left. So it's very apparent that they probably got an order to concentrate, focus power on one thing and try and take it down. What you see also is that a group of these jump troops leap into the snowbank on the left of the bowl, and they start digging into the snow itself, and it only takes a few moments, and you see them pull a body out.
The spiders were doing this?
No, these are the soldiers.
Okay.
Yeah, the soldiers, two soldiers jump into a snowbank, and you can tell that this had been probably part of the bowl's wall at one time, and it had collapsed, and it looks very much like they're like, some of their buddies got buried, and they're trying to recover them, and the other soldiers and the tanks are firing on the spider that is closest to them as cover, as they're doing this like rescue op. The walker on the right sees Yokozuna and is going to fire its electric eye. It was going to fire its electric eye at the tank.
Oops.
But then Yokozuna appears in it, so it adjusts its attack. So the alien walker is going to character sheet. There we go. Is going to fire on Yokozuna. And that is electric eye. There. Blast. There it is. Okay. So that is a blast effect. It hits dodge 19, which Yokozuna's dodge.
It's a 4.
Well, 4, you add 10 to your defenses, so 14. So it definitely hits. So this blast just hits you. And then what you need to roll is your toughness save. So you roll D20 plus your toughness save.
You got this.
Yeah, Yokozuna's pretty damn tough.
There's my natural 20.
So this cherry red blast just hits you full on in the chest, and it just seemingly just dissipates like smoke on you. And you do feel the heat of it, but it doesn't even really affect you at all.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
All right, so then the tank the careening tank is going to have to make an adjustment here, so I'm going to have to roll for a vehicle check for the Red Fist soldier. So we'll open that up, and it is a vehicles check. That is not great. So it doesn't just go straight into the bowl. What it does is it continues to go down. It hits the edge of like the ridge of the bowl itself, and you see it just kind of tip. And now he's going to get one more chance not to wreck it, but he's at a minus at this point. So it's almost like completely like upside down.
Nice. He's going to wreck it.
Yeah, and he looks like it's going to wreck it onto Yokozuna.
Ooh, we don't want that to happen. I need to steer that away.
The dude inside, he's like, shit.
Right. As a matter of fact, that's a good point. What happens is, like I said, it's starting to like turn over, and these things weren't meant to be anything but straight up and down. So to try and compensate and bring that back is going to be virtually impossible. So what you see, Deception, is that because this is a button-down tank, so all the hatches have been closed. You see the tank commander's hatch open up, so he's almost completely upside down at this point, and the hatch opens up, and you see him just jump out.
Okay. Nice.
So I'm going to add another soldier to the mix there. There he is. He's like, oh, he jumps into the snow.
Nice.
All right. There is a soldier relatively close to him. So they're going to kind of meet up, so you can tell that that's what they're going to do. All right. So looks like the player characters have gone. So now, or the NPCs have gone. So now it's back to the player characters.
Are we rolling initiative, or are we just going when we go?
Well, we'll just keep going as we go.
All right. So I see this. I see this tank. Looks like it's going to hit Yokozuna.
Yeah, it's on a collision course. Even though it's like almost upside, like corkscrewing towards him.
Okay.
Like porkins.
I'm going to try because I figured that I'm still in the midst of swinging.
Yes.
Around. So seeing this as I'm coming around, and I see Yokozuna get his failed jump, and then he gets nailed with the energy beam, which kind of backs him right into the path of the tank. And I'm going to take a word balloon action and go whoops, and then I'm going to try and continue my momentum to try do everything I can to pull this tank as far away from hitting Yokozuna as I can, even to the point of continuing to ride with it if I need to, because obviously being a superhero, we can't have our friends get hit.
Right. One thing I did want to bring up is that, and we established this before, for those of you who know anything about Mutants Masterminds, this is a house rule. If you roll a 20 when spending a hero point, that hero point is not spent. So you still have your hero point, or your extra hero point. So both of you should still have 2. All right, so you're going to attempt to essentially do the same thing.
I'm going to basically continue my swing around in an effort to try and pull it even further away. I was just going to try and get it just to careen to the ground. Now I'm going to try and take it directly down as much as I possibly can.
Okay, that would be another extra effort to do that. There's a couple of different options you could probably do, just looking at your power sets. You could do that again where you could like increase the power of the pull of your swing line. There's also a couple other things that you could do. If you look, you have a taser power. You could actually boost that to almost like, electromagnetic pulse through it or something like that. You can do all kinds of weird stuff like that. But it's up to you how you want to do it.
Ooh, how about this? Can we say that maybe there is some sort of metallic thing that is that I notice on the ground, and I'm able to flip to try and use like a magnetic pull, or to flip my line to grab onto that to help me pull?
Okay, yeah. To like give yourself an assist.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No problem.
Is this something I need to spend a hero point to accomplish?
Well, what you're doing is what's called extra effort, which means you're adding a wrinkle to your power. But what it does is it tires you, but you spend the hero point to avoid the being tired.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So you don't necessarily have to spend the hero point. It's just it would behoove you to do so.
Yes, I feel behooved, and so I shall do so.
Okay, so that's you're doing the moving it again. You're adding.
So basically, instead of like continuing to swing around, maybe I come and I land. I see the thing go, and I pull a Captain America Civil War thing, and we get the fan service shot where I grab a hook a service hook on onto the tank. And I get the bicep flex as I shoot my line down towards the something to grab onto the ground to help me pull this tank out of his path.
Okay. All right. That is just going to be a straight up athletics check on your part.
But I'm assuming this is still an extra effort deal.
It is, but what you're doing is you're adding super strength as like a bonus power to your swing line. So it's giving you super strength enough to, because it's giving this ultra pull. You're just kind of like the thing holding on to the tank at one point. It's doing all the work, really.
I'm just the carabiner.
Exactly.
All right. So this is an athletics roll?
Yes, athletics roll.
You're getting that temporary mom super strength.
Yeah.
All right. So
that is not good. That was total is an 11. Looks like.
Okay. So you do move it at least a little bit. So it's not going to land directly on him. What we'll say is that you slowed it enough where Yokozuna could either just counterattack it or try and catch it.
Got it.
You slowed it down enough and did the so that way it caught his attention to that way he can react to it. So all right. So Yokozuna, what are you doing?
I want to use its momentum coming down to sling it into the spider.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what we'll say here is that the tank itself has moved closer to Yokozuna, and that the deception is now on the side, the like front left side. The soldiers underneath are like looking up as this tank is like almost like tumbling over them, and they're diving for cover. All right, so you're going to catch it and use its momentum to throw it into a spider.
Correct.
Okay, so what I need from you, Yokozuna, is you're going to attempt to catch it, which would be an athletics check. So you're going to get, it's a D20 plus 10 to your roll. That'll be just to catch it. And then you're going to then throw it at the spider. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, your lifting, I think you can lift, it's insane. It's something like 100 and something tons.
Yeah, he's got, there's tonnage on there. Nice. That's awesome, man.
All right, so let's do the athletics one first.
Okay.
That'd be an 18.
All right, so yeah, easily. The tank is kind of flipping around. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say you catch it by the ass. So it's flipped around that direction. The back end is coming towards you, you grab onto it, and you can feel the heat of this whatever it's using, its repulsor system or whatever it's using to keep itself hover. Its hover ability is like washing against you, but it doesn't really affect you that much, but you can definitely feel it. And now you're making a throwing check, which is your throwing is not your strong suit. So what that means is,
But could I leap and slam dunk?
oh, so you want to just kind of like hit the spider with it as opposed to throw it.
Yeah.
You can certainly do that, and you're way better at that. So you're using the momentum, you just kind of 5-foot adjust there, and you're swinging the tank at the spider. Okay, so what that is an unarmed attack. I'm sorry, it would be considered an armed attack unless you use your strike ability, which you could certainly use that too. Let's say, you'll use
Use the momentum to bring it over and then pow!
the punch through it. Yeah, there you go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that would be your strike ability. So that's a D20 plus 4 on the walker.
That would be a total of 11.
Okay. The alien walker's parry is parry defense is an 18. So yeah, they're pretty. Like I said, those the tanks were having trouble hitting them because they're moving around so fast. So you spin around and then you punch. It's like you're using the tank as a boxing glove, and you slam it into the ground. Well, the tank is now disabled, but the spider deftly moves out of the way. Now, there is something you can do. You can use your hero points for rerolls. And what that does is if you roll a 1 through 9, 1 through 9, you just add 10 to whatever you rolled, in addition to whatever your bonus is. If you roll an 11 or 10 or higher, essentially it's a 1 through 10, you add 10. If it's 11 through 20, you just keep what you roll. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So that if that's what is something you would want to do.
Yeah, let's do that because I roll a 7 on the die.
Okay.
So I just add 10 to what I had, or do I need to roll again?
You actually re-roll.
Okay.
So what'd you roll?
All right. So adding, I rolled a 4, so adding 10 that would be 14, and then my 4 for the attack would be 18.
18 is on the nose. All right. So Yokozuna, you're using a 20-ton tank as a bludgeon. So I'm going to go ahead and
put my fist deep in the rear end of this red fist tank.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give, because you're striking something hard with something hard, so both the tank and the walker are going to be subject to this damage. And each one of them is going to have to, your regular strike DC is, let's see here, is 25. I'm going to add 5 to that. So they're going to need 30s on their toughness saves to withstand this damage. So the first one is the walker. And the walker needed a 30 and got a 16. So the walker is incapacitated. It's not. It had already stopped moving, so now it's at the point where it's now underneath this tank. Right now, I'm going to roll for the tank. Hover tank. Toughness save. I didn't put it on there. Okay, so I'm going to do this one manually. Hover tank is toughness save. It's going to need what did I say? 30?
30.
Yeah. Let's see. Defense is 12 base. So it gets a 17. So the tank is upside down. It's not going to be able to right itself because it just doesn't have that level of mobility. And it's heavily damaged. All right. So that we'll take that tank off of play, and the rest of the tanks are moving in. And then the spider is, I'm going to grab on, and he is upside down. All right. Okay. So now, as you've incapacitated the one tank, the other two are reacting to you guys now. So lead tank is going to fire its main gun at Yokozuna. The wingman sees the deception having, released from the tank that Yokozuna used to smash the walker. It's going to use its anti-personnel heavy machine gun in your direction.
Yeah.
So, righty. So, hover tank number 1, lead command tank is going to fire its main cannon at Yokozuna. Okay, and so he's going to hit. It's a range, so it's a dodge DC that is 26. It damn near critted you.
Wow.
All right.
So it the main cannon just right dead center mass, boom, right in your chest. So that is a toughness save DC 20 on your part.
All right. Let's see what happens. All right, roll the 13, so that would be a 24.
All right. So, boom, this anti-tank round hits you in the chest, and the most it gets out of you is maybe a half step backwards.
Can I catch it?
No. I mean, it blows up and on your chest.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a high explosive round. All right, machine gun is going
You singed my eyebrows. You have no honor.
It's firing the heavy machine, or I'm sorry, medium machine gun is now going at the deception. So this is going to be versus your dodge defense.
Come at me, bro.
All right, it's doing a multi-fire attack, so it's going to be actually at instead of a +3 normal, it's going to be at a straight up, and it rolls a 6. So yeah, there's tracer rounds just zipping past you as you had disconnected your harpoon, and you're like flipping over like towards the snow. Okay. Ready, and that is those. The other tanks. Actually, I want you to make perception checks. So Yokozuna, you're at a +2. And then deception.
17
Oh
for
my
you.
gosh. 22 for me. Damn.
Nice. All right. So both of you notice that the tanks and the soldiers had focused on the one walker on the left that you guys weren't even engaged with, and you hear a loud boom as one of the tanks gets a square hit on it, and it just disintegrates it. But that didn't require a perception check. That was pretty obvious. What the perception check was for is, as it blows up, one of the other tanks from the far end, as they're moving in, it had shot at the walker, and it had already blown up. So its round goes through the red mist that was this walker, and it strikes the hole that has the brown brown material lining it, and it goes inside it, and then you hear a loud boom.
Ooh.
And there's a loud rumble. Okay. And so the tanks had fired. There's this loud boom and rumble. The soldiers that are all on the banks, the snow banks around, they react because the ground, you can tell that the ground around them is shaking. You guys are on the ground, so you feel the ground shaking. And they start actually they start actually making their way away from where that impact had happened. So they're like running. I apologize for the noise. My wife bought our cat a super rattly toy. So, okay. So, how we'll start this next round is the soldiers look like they're taking off. It's like they're running in reaction to this loud boom that just happened. Let me put guys that were hiding in the appropriate layer real quick. All right. So here we go.
Do the other tanks appear to be backing up, or is it just the foot soldiers?
Just the foot soldiers right now. The tanks were the two tanks nearest you were actually engaging you, and then the other 6 tanks, because each one represents 3 on the other side. They were engaging that last walker. So the tanks are still in position. The soldiers are the ones that are pulling out. So, and so the tanks have gone, the guys have gone. It is now you guys' turn. So you still have 2 tanks, and they're engaging you.
And that's this one here, and then this one over here, right?
Actually, it's
or is it the 2 bottom ones?
It's let me see here. That one right there.
All right.
So it's that one there represents the 2 that are attacking you.
Okay. And these 2 troopers down here have got their backs to me running away.
Correct.
All right. Let's see. So I have a good idea. I know where the hatch is. So the deception is going to go and try and get on the tank and open up that hatch from the outside.
Okay. All right. So you're moving on to it?
Yes.
Okay, and you're attempting to bust open one of the hatches. Okay. How are you intending on busting one of the hatches open?
Good question. I think this might have to be just straight up strength, I'm assuming. I mean, if there's no obvious release latch for outside access, then I'm just going to have to attempt to try and just pull it open, since I don't have any beams or anything that can help me get it through, and I'm going to guess the armor is too thick for me to beat it. So I'm thinking the hinge is probably the weakest point here.
Okay. All right. So you're just pulling against the hinge itself.
Correct.
Okay. That would be an athletics check.
And that would be a 15.
Okay. You start tugging on it, and you feel it give a little bit, and you realize that these tanks aren't, even though they're hovering around, it's like the hover elements of them have been hastily attached to them, and so these aren't the best quality tanks. As a matter of fact, they seem kind of old and like they painted over old tanks is what this really looks like. So as you're pulling on it, you can feel it. There is some give to it, but it's probably going to take a little bit more of a concerted effort.
Okay.
Unless you want, what'd you roll on that attack or on that roll?
15.
Oh, you rolled a 15. So yeah, a hero point wouldn't affect it in that way unless you spent the hero point to make it so or you could do an extra effort to increase, like I said before, giving yourself super strength or some sort of ability to break that.
I thought I spent my hero point already.
You should have 2. You have a total of 2.
Oh, okay. All right. How about, could I get it? Yeah, can I spend the hero point to essentially maybe get it enough where I could slide the baton in there and use it as a lever?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
All right.
So
we'll do that.
Okay. So you bend it just enough to pop one of the, because it would have 2 hinges on it in the back. So you pop one of the hinges up enough where you can stick your super baton underneath there. And now you can really get a good leverage for next round.
Cool.
Okay. Yokozuna, what are you doing?
Being personally offended at being shot at, he's going to leap on top of the tank.
Okay.
And try to slam it down into the ground.
Okay. I'm actually going to put another hover tank on there just so that way we can keep track of the 2. All right. Okay. So you're going to jump onto the tank and just slam onto it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That you could do with your charge attack again.
Yeah.
Okay. So Yokozuna, you are looking at your furious charge, so you're going to get a +4 on your attack.
Shout, oh yes, I fall down on it. That'd be a total of a 9.
9. Well, luckily tanks, to touch them aren't that hard to hit, especially this slow moving. So that is a hit.
All right.
So
nice.
Now I am looking at a toughness save with a furious charge. So what your furious charge does is it is dangerous. So if you, let's see, it's impressive and it's tiring. So you're going to have to rest after doing this time. So it's a DC 26 save, and so I need to make a toughness save 26. Its base toughness is 12, so I'm going to need at least a 14 to take no damage. And I rolled a 1. So yeah, so Yokozuna, you come in you jump, furious charge down into it, and one of the weakest points of a tank is actually the very top of the turret. So you come in and boom, you go through the turret, down through the tank itself, through the hover element, and you split it in half. Boom.
Nice.
Okay. So what happens next is,
I'm assuming there's like a guy in there going with a steering wheel in his hand, and that's it.
Right. Yeah, it splits. Yeah, you have the gunner. The gunner is now holding on to 2 joysticks, and it's connected to nothing. And then it splits in half, and you see the driver who's in the front. He looks back because this is like an open inside of a tank, not like an Abrams, which is separate. So it splits, and so the driver's like, ah, as he goes like face first into the ice below. All right, so that's you two. The other 2 groups of tanks now. The group closest to you is turning, and looks like they're trying to make their escape, or at least turn around and get away. But as they're doing that, Yokozuna, one of them sees what you just did to his buddy, and this tank here on your left is going to open fire with its main gun. So against your dodge defense, it's anti-tank gun, and that is a dodge 13.
Dodge is 4.
So that's 14.
14, yeah.
Yeah, so it misses. It just misses. So you come through this tank, you land in the ice. Tank bits are falling around you. One of the other tanks sees what you just did, and shoots, and it just strikes at your foot, just under your foot. Boom.
Nice.
Okay. So that tank is moved. All right. Deception, the tank that you're on, the tank commander, because you're opening up the hatch where the tank commander is, and he's got a pistol, and he's going to shoot at you like through the crack that you're making with your baton. I'm going to give him a -2 to hit because he's really not quite equipped to, and he can't really target you very well. So instead of a +4, he's going to get +2 to his attack. So this is a dodge, and he versus your dodge defense, and he gets a 14.
And my dodge defense is 17.
So he shoots and just shoots into the air. Okay. There's a loud rumble again in the ground. The jump troops then now engage their jump packs and are now bugging out.
Oof, I got a bad feeling about this.
So all the jump troops are just in the process of jumping out of here. The left groups of tanks have turned and changed directions, and now at the end of the round, the rumble gets really, really loud, and boom. Emerging from the black or the brown cave is a gigantic monstrosity. It is all metallic tentacles, very much similar to the walkers, but this looks like some sort of almost like boss, commander or something. It is definitely something more important than the little walkers that you were seeing. And so in relative size, it's about it's the size of like the Statue of Liberty.
So this is the Cloverfield to the little hanger-oners.
Yes.
Okay. Yikes.
Yeah, and it bursts through, and you see that, like I said, the tanks have turned around. Now, deception. I want you to make another perception check.
All right, I can do that. Perception, which is right here. We get a 25.
Nice. So, as you move out of the way as this tank commander shoots at you through the crack that you're making in his hatch, and you can his helmet's kind of like haphazardly on his head, and you can hear radio traffic going on inside the tank, and you're hearing someone screaming, and in English, and they're you morons, someone breached the containment. Someone, check your field of fire. Tank 4, why did you do that? And then they're going on and on about the fact that the guy who shot through the red misted walker apparently breached some sort of a containment.
Oops. That's going to go on his performance review.
All right, so now it's back around to the PCs. What are you guys doing?
what does it look like Yokozuna's going to do? Are you thinking on trying to take out this tank? Because I may hold my action to get out of your way if it looks like you're going to take this one out. Or if now, because we have this new arrival, if that's going to get your attention, then, I mean, I'm willing to let you go first just because I think that it might be better if I reacted to what you do.
Yeah,
Brent,
there's a new bigger thing there that's probably going to take Yoko's attention more than the tank you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So let me interject here at one point. So as you guys are, you're looking at this, the big thing goes boom. You hear Arctic Flare's voice like crackle into your comm, and she says, "Guys, there's something down here. There's something down here." And then you hear Machismo, and he says, "There's something up here too." And she says, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's like Barbago all over again." And then she says, "It's just like," and then
Ooh. Not good. All right. I'm going to try and take out this tank. So I'll go first then, and just in case I totally pooch this, but although I think you running over there might still be the wisest course of action anyway. So is the captain like right there?
Yeah.
All right. Or the commander. So I think what I'm going to do is, if he's there, I'm going to, rather than try and pop off this thing, I'm going to slide my baton in further and tase him since he's like right there.
Okay. All right. That is what that does is it's an alternate effect of your strike ability. So you would make your strike attack, and then, but instead of doing the damage, you're actually hitting him with the affliction.
Gotcha. All right, and this is a baton strike, correct?
Correct.
All right, and we get an 18. Result's only a 13.
Okay. To hit, let's see, one of the Red Fist soldiers. This is a parry defense, and his parry defense is 12.
Huh. All right, I just got him. So his fortitude DC on this is a 14.
Okay, so he needs a fortitude DC 14. Red Fist soldier. All right. Oh, and so he rolls a total of a 19. So he is not affected by the taser. You hit him, and it hits right on his Red Fist emblem, and you see it just kind of arcs. Power just kind of fizzles, and he looks down like he totally expected to be hurt, and then he kind of looks down and looks back up, and he grins at you, and he says, "Hail the fist."
Nice.
All right. Okay. Yoko, what are you doing?
I'm going to look at the gunner who's sitting in the tank kind of in front of me, and tell him, shell and run. So
Okay.
I'm basically telling him to give me a shell, hand outstretched, and for him to run.
Okay. So you're trying to convince him to give up some of his munitions. Okay.
Not like he can use them.
No, that's fine. That's still it's going to be a persuasion. Are you doing persuasion, or are you doing intimidation?
Intimidation.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. I'm going to give you, because you used the Furious Charge, which is called, gives you the ability, which is impressive, that actually adds to your intimidation factor. So you did this Furious Charge. You went through one of the other tanks, and you just look at him and hold out your hand and go, "Give me a shell." And you're gonna roll your intimidation. So that gives you a +2. So it's +7 to your roll.
Come on. That's going to be a 21.
Okay. Yeah, he sits there and just kind of looks at you for a second, and you can tell that he wasn't quite sure what to do. But then you said "and go," and he's like, "Yeah, here, yeah, totally. Here, you can have it. You want two of them?" So and all right, so you do that. That is actually you're using a skill, so that would be your action. So now you have an anti-tank round in your hand. The driver then is turning the tank around and will start moving out. And then these tanks have actually started full on bugging out. Okay.
And I'm assuming the driver and the gunner from the tank I just went through are going.
Yeah, they're running. Yeah, they're on foot. Yes. Okay. So that's that. The tank commander. You had just tried to tase him. He's going to take another shot at you. Deception. All right. It's going to be a pistol roll. Heavy pistol. There we go. That's heavy pistol. That is a Dodge DC 20. So that is a hit. So you're going to need a toughness save DC 19.
Oof.
Now I'm getting a TV or something in the background.
All right, yeah, give me a sec.
Chris, you there?
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I need a.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought he was shooting at. I thought that's my bad. I thought he was shooting at Yokozuna.
Nope, he was shooting at you. So yeah,
Damn it!
it's a
No, this is really bad.
yeah.
All
Toughness DC 19.
right. Okay, so here we go. Chris is now paying attention. Toughness DC 19. I'm going to get. Just oh shit! I got an 18, which I probably deserve for sitting here staring blankly at the screen for a while.
Fortunately, what that means is that you took a bruise.
Oh
yeah. So missing it by less than less than 5, it's just a bruise. So, but
awesome.
what that also means is that all of your target numbers are now +1.
+1. Got it.
Okay, so yeah, he shoots you, hits you in the shoulder, but it's not so bad.
Okay.
All right, and now it is back around to you guys. The creature itself appeared, and it seems a little disoriented, as it's like it can't quite tell, what is going on around it. But what you do see is that it looks down at the intact walker that has been disabled, and you see it look down, and then it looks right at the two of you, well, the tank, and then the two of you, as if like, I have now assessed where that threat comes from. So it's back around to you guys.
All right, I am going to return to the original course of action using my baton as a lever, and I'm going to attempt to snap off this lid or latch or hatch and get in there.
Okay, I'll say that I'll give you your baton strike bonus. The power, +8 to it. So really, because you're using the baton as part of it. So instead of the athletics 5, I'll say you get a +13 to your roll. So go
Okay.
ahead and roll your athletics roll and just add 8 to it.
And we'll add 8 to it. All right. So this plus 8. And so we're getting 21 plus 8 is 29.
Yep. So yeah, you hear there's a loud groaning, and then the hatch itself just goes boom and pops like completely off.
Nice. And then I'll take a free action, and I'll stare at the commander, and I'll use another word balloon saying, "That hurt," as I tap where he hit me in my suit.
Okay. Yeah, his eyes are like saucers now. He's like, how did you just rip the hatch off of a tank?
Nice.
Okay, Yoko, what are you doing?
I'm going to try to football throw this shell at the giant monstrosity.
Okay. All right, that is a throwing check. So Yoko, your throwing is not awesome, but let's see. Yep, it's a straight up +0.
All right. That would be a 12.
Luckily, this thing is humongous, so it's not hard to hit. Okay, so you throw, full-on throw an anti-tank round at this monster. Okay, so what I'm going to say is that if you expend a hero point, you could detonate this on impact. You can detonate the round on impact. And I will say that you can add your strength bonus to the already anti-tank rounds damage.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So instead of a normal 20, you're adding your strength to it, which is a +9. So now he needs a toughness DC 29. All right. So there it is. This thing is badass. So just to give you fair warning. So he has, I'm going to go ahead and roll a D20 on here. Oh, no. I rolled a 1. So
Yeah.
29.
Right in the eye.
Yeah. So luckily luckily for it has a massive toughness save. So even though a 1 is a botch, is a horrible failure, it doesn't like disintegrate, but it hits it in like I said, it's like a mass of these steel cable coils, and with like a centralized brain looking thing, and you hit it right in the convergence of a bunch of its coils, and it goes boom, and you see it rock back into the cave that it had come from, and cables go flying as you blow several of its arms off. So, and it kind of it slumps up against the wall of the cave that it had come out of, clearly not expecting anything like that.
Nice shot.
All right, so now it is bad guys' turn. The tanks have now the unscathed tanks have now fled the scene. There is one jump troop that apparently didn't get the memo, so he jumps out of there as well. And then the tank that you are on, Deception, is now moving away with you on it.
Whoop.
And doesn't seem to want to draw aggro from this big monster, so the tank isn't even firing as it's leaving. It's just getting the hell out. Right. So then the big monstrosity moves towards Yokozuna, the thing that just hurt it, and it is going to actually it takes like a slight adjustment just to get out of the hole, and then the steel cable tentacles lash out and grab at Yokozuna at a distance of about 120 feet.
Whoa.
All right, so it is doing it's grab. It's basically doing an attack on you with with a grab attack. So it has to hit your parry save, which your parry is 14, and it gets +6 to its grab. So it'll be this plus d20 +6. Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh, is Machismo's finally here, huh?
Yes, Machizo is he's coming online.
All right. So those watching, I'll apologize now. I'm going to switch over to I'm going to add Machismo to the screen here. So I apologize as he's logging in. We're going to have some weird looks here. Looks like. So I apologize for that. All right. Yes, there's everybody's camera angles again. If you're watching on, yeah,
A little echoey. Wah, 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 wah.
all right. Again, apologizing for. Oh, that's weird. Well, if it rectifies, then we'll put you on.
Rectify.
It does
Damn
have
near
a tank sitting
killed
on top of it.
That's right.
That laugh is awesome with the echo. Oh yeah, it's definitely echoing.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly what it is.
Some aspect of Machismo's character we were unaware of.
All right. So once again, I apologize for the delay, but I'm trying to get Brandon put into position here. You're getting a crash course. Those of you who don't do streams, you're getting a crash course on how to do this. Now, there's probably a way to do this where you would be looking at a and that just totally screwed everything.
I almost had it.
I'm going to switch over to the RP version. There we go. Until he figures out what his issue is. All right, so we'll just have to do theater of the mind until we can get him back on. Oh, there he is. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got you.
So I have to do Zoom first.
Oh yeah.
Then-
Yes. Do Zoom before Roll20. I learned that as well.
All right.
All right. So Machismo, what happens is you come out of you finally make it to where everyone is, and if
Your self-induced narcissistic torpor.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but all right. Yeah.
all right, and you come upon this bowl in the snow, and there's this gigantic tentacled creature, this like metallic tentacled creature that has come out of another one of those big brown holes in the ground. And you see Yokozuna is being grabbed at by these tentacles, and you see the Deception is riding the top of a hover tank that is fleeing the scene, and he has ripped the turret or the hatch off the top of it, and is now looking down in at the tank commander inside.
Okay. So this giant tentacled Cthulhu monster
Right.
and one of those spiders with things we fought earlier, and then a tank.
Yeah, the spider thing is actually inert. It had been bashed and is now kind of just laying there twitching. But you guys do know that it does have a regeneration ability. So, also, it does have a tank sitting on top of it.
All right,
The pieces
that's
of the
going to
tank.
be a 20.
Okay.
So, the other thing that happens is, as Machismo, you make your appearance out of the, to the
Thin
sea.
air.
Arctic Flare is actually in the original cave, and she had crawled into there to see if she could find the source of this strange synthetic substance that she was studying. And then when she was
Was
down,
that the soil that we found the first time?
yeah, 'cause-
Okay.
yeah, and she actually radioed just a moment ago saying she'd found something. There's something down here, and it's just like Barbago. That's all she said, and then it faded out. So as you're making your approach, her comm kicks in again, and she'd been talking this whole time, but for whatever reason there was some interference, and she's like, I'm attempting to find out if there's some way to disable it, because guys, it's bigger than the original one.
Ooh. Is that the big guy we see? Is that what
You have
She
no
saw her,
idea.
she-
You have no
oh,
idea
we
what
don't
she's
know.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
She, like, her communication had been jammed, or at least there was some sort of interference, but she didn't know that. She was like narrating this whole time, but there was nothing was coming through. Now the very end of what she was talking about comes through. So
Okay. So Dirk is handling dudes in a tank. Like those guys, there's guys in it, right? Like it's that faction that we've been dealing with.
correct, the Red Fist.
Yeah, the Red Feast.
Okay. Are you handling that, or should I help with that?
Well, yeah, well, they're fleeing right now, so I may just leave them alone, and so we can direct our attention to the big guy. I was about to, but then I must have scared them when I popped the hatch off the tank, because it certainly couldn't be that huge monster that scared them away.
So what was happening when you do arrive, though, is this tentacled creature extends elongates its tentacles and wraps them around Yokozuna. So Yoko, what I'm going to need from you is it gets an automatic grab anytime it makes its attack, but its arms do get an attack on you. So you are looking at a toughness DC 26, because these filaments inside the tentacles, so think of it as like these metallic tentacles, but they have these filaments on the outside that are like undulating, and as it wraps around you, they start digging into your skin.
Ooh.
So,
Sexy.
yep. So you're going to need a toughness save. What I say, DC 26.
He just looks at you and says, "No homo."
Ooh, okay. So what happens is that it wraps around you and is digging into your skin, and now you are you are stunned. There we go. Okay.
Stunned.
Yeah, or not.
The tank is stunned. Our tank is stunned.
Yes, it is. The technical or the game terminology is you are dazed, so you can move or attack. All right, so it full on because what had happened right before Machismo arrived was that Yokozuna took one of the anti-tank shells from one of the destroyed tanks and threw it football style at this creature and blew a bunch of its legs off.
This dude's way too fucking strong. Oh my god.
It's so awesome, though.
He's throwing fucking tank shells as hard as a tank can shoot them and ripping legs off monsters. Like, god damn. Ridiculous.
So it directs the rest of its attacks towards Yokozuna, and it is now focused on him solely. And its tentacles go in and now are grabbing, and they're digging into your skin, and now it's going to start squeezing you, and you can tell. Okay. All right. Now it is the player character's turn. So we'll start with Machismo. What are you going to do?
So, Hussy, what are you doing with the tank?
I'm probably gonna leap off this tank since it's fleeing. And now that we see Yokozuna has gotten wrapped up, I got to do whatever I can to help this dude.
You can't. Oh, so there's guys still in the tank.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was gonna get in the tank and use the tank.
Well, you know what? I could go first and then try and take him out so you can get in the tank and use the tank.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch up to the tank to try and help him
attempt the
take it over.
Earthquake stomp.
Jumping on top of the tank isn't going to be very hard because it's actually very low to the ground at this point. So that would just be a move action to get up on top of it and
athletics or something.
Yeah.
All right. This says I only have one in acrobat. Oh no, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
You just rolled your awareness. I don't know why you did that.
I clicked on the athletic.
So the
Here, let me try it again here. Acrobatics. Come on.
you did the original acrobatics roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you got a 12 on your acrobatics to tumble up on top of the tank, and that's fine. That's all you really needed was a 10. So
okay.
So you're up. You're now up on top of the tank. That's a move action. So what else are you gonna do? And you see the top hatch had been ripped off, so you're looking at the crew on the inside, and they can see you.
I'm assuming, is it tight like most tanks on the inside? Like, I mean, is it a small interior? Or is this like some kind of new age, like they got all the space in the world?
No, it's very compact.
Okay. I'm going to try and like grab some guy and try to like pull him out.
Okay. That's a grab attack.
Then that's what we'll do.
Should
melee, I guess?
Yes.
All right. Melee. Where's my unarmed? Boom. Oof. I'm going to go ahead and use my hero point.
Okay. Sure.
Is that a reroll, I guess?
Yeah. Yep, it's a reroll. If it's 11 or better, you
Especially
keep it.
since
If
it's
it's less
holding on to me.
than that, then you add 10.
Hey, that's
Nice.
way better.
Okay, so you grab onto him. Right now, your grab attack has side effects.
Yeah.
So, are you using frustration? Or are you using climactic touch?
Oh yeah, I'm using climactic touch for sure.
Okay, so all right, you grab on.
Side effects include sticky shorts.
Right. So Machismo reaches down, grabs this guy. I mean, you got a pretty good roll. So you like grab him by his collar, and you're like picking him up, and like so your hand goes up and underneath his shirt.
And I say, "Come with me," and I say, "Come with me."
All right. He needs a Fortitude DC 18 to resist.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, he's a rock. So yeah, so you come with me. You pull him out of the tank, and he's just he's looking at you. But yeah, he something's wrong. You know, it doesn't faze him.
Damn.
All right, so that is Machismo. Deception. What are you doing? So you see Machismo pull the tank, the guy that had shot at you, and
that was the tank commander, right?
Yeah, you see Machismo's now pulled him out of the tank.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm using my illusionary power to make myself look like the commander.
Okay.
And I am going to jump down into the tank, and I'm going to basically start barking orders saying, damage. New orders, turn this tank around and take aim at that big thing now.
Okay. That is going to be a deception roll.
Ooh. And this is my illusionary looks, right?
The illusionary looks is to see if they buy the illusion.
Gotcha.
So that's going to be.
So this is
So
this is a straight up deception skill. Then.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me roll. Let me roll the gunner's defense, his willpower defense, to see if he falls for it. Now it's a stressful situation, so I'm going to give him a -2 to his roll.
Nice.
So it's a willpower. Yeah, not real strong with the old willpower there. Yeah.
Ooh.
So you start barking orders at him. So go ahead and roll your actual deception, and I'll give you a +5 to the roll.
Total with +5 is going to be a 34.
Yeah. Okay. He goes. You start barking orders. Say, target that creature, and so the gunner starts to rotate the turret back. And then the driver looks at you and says, "Orders, Commander."
Bring us around.
Okay, so the tank is going to about face, and you say it with such gusto. Now they're like, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it.
Damn right, we're gonna make it. Stick with me, men. We're
You've made
taking
them
this
believe
thing
in
down.
themselves.
We're gonna make up for Tank 4's inadequacy. We've got this.
Tank 4's inadequacy.
Yeah, they're the idiots who let this thing out.
Right. All right, Yoko.
Those Tank 4 assholes are going to pay for
Tank
this later.
4, fucking Tank 4.
Guys, I hate those Tank 4 chodes.
Okay, Yoko, what are you doing?
And dazed
So
and
you can
vulnerable.
you can stomp, and it would just go boom, 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 wherever you wanted it to go. So where do you want to center the explosion? And I believe it's a 30-foot radius blast area. Oh, I'm sorry, 120-foot radius. So that's most of this area. Now you can actually direct it so that way if you did it on the creature, you're pretty much, you would be in the blast radius, but you're not affected by it. You that's one of your things, is you're actually resistant to this. So okay, all right. So you do the earthquake stomp, and you don't actually have to do anything. You don't have to roll. This is it's an area effect, so it has to roll a dodge save to get away from it, and then it has to make a fortitude save to overcome it.
Yokozuna has a thing
So
called
its dodge save is
interpose.
not great.
So can I
Yes.
put
So
myself in the way?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. I'm going to actually give it a -2 to its roll, because it's holding on to you, and it's connected to you. So it's going to get a D20 +1. So it fails. So it does not avoid the blast at all. So you stomp your foot, and it kind of ripples across this ice, and actually cracks the ice, like going towards it, like boom. And now it has to make a fortitude save. Well, it has a pretty good fortitude. So
All right, I
let's see
rolled
here.
16, so that would be a 27.
Okay. Alrighty. So it's a D20. Oh, no. So
Behold my vicious
it
men.
fails its
as
fortitude
they
save,
deflect you.
and earthquake stomp. There it is. So what it does is it is dazed also and vulnerable, which means that its toughness save is reduced. So the blast occurs, it kind of staggers, like losing its balance, and you see that some of the tentacles that it uses for defense folds away, like as if to like brace itself to keep it from falling down, and exposes its central core. All right, and then let's see, that's this. So then the tank rotates. And the tank crew, now the tank commander could fire, or the gunner can fire. That is certainly something that could happen. Or the tank commander could assist the gunner on the attack. So what do you want to do, tank commander?
I'm thinking I'm going to want to try and assist because I'm pretty sure he's probably got a better gunnery score than I do.
Let's see here. He gets.
I certainly will. I'll relay Yokozuna's message. Target that red mass.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. The tank gunners get on his shot. It's a ranged attack +3. Do you have a better than a +3?
My range combat. It looks like it's just my. That's the
It's
only
your
one I
dex.
don't have. Yeah, it's my dex. My dex is a +1.
So okay. So go ahead and make a ranged attack at a +1, and you're looking for a target number 10. That would give him a +2 on his assist. Wait a minute. Before you do that, let me double check something, because I believe the deception may have something that could play into this.
Ooh.
No, he does not. I thought I was looking to see if you had any like teamwork advantages or anything like that, where you could like give extra bonuses to your assists, but you don't.
The lone wolf rides alone tonight.
I guess. Okay.
That would be a 13 for my assist.
Okay, so you give the gunner a +2, and I'll go ahead and roll a d20 +5. I'll let you roll for the attack.
Go,
So
Gunna.
sensual
You can do it,
shoulder
Gunny.
rub to put him to sleep.
That's 20! Nice. This
That is so awesome.
Brandon, no bullshit. That's his third natural 20
That
today.
is my third net 20 today. Fucking killing it.
Have to legally change your name to Jason King.
Okay, so yeah, this thing just took it hard, because like I said, its toughness save is reduced because it's vulnerable, which is huge. So let's see, that would have been about a -18. So a natural 20 gives it, instead of an DC 20, it is now a DC 25. So it is, and it's already been damaged. So it's looking at a DC 25, and it's rolling D20 +10. It's dazed and vulnerable, yes. So 22. So it fails.
Yeah.
So boom, it gets hit again. It was already dazed. It took another bruise. So it's now it's having lots of problems at this point. All right.
Nice.
And
I'm going to
it's got
charge.
actually it has to let go of Yokozuna to maintain its balance. Otherwise, it's going to fall back in the hole. So it releases
That is a 17
Yokozuna,
on the die.
and it
Total would be a 21.
lashes out at the tank this time.
And for my Furious Charge, that's a crit.
Whoa.
That's not good. We're on the tank.
Yes.
17.
Alrighty. It's not doing great. It's at a -2 its attack, so that's. Yes, he does. Yes, you may.
Yeah.
All right, so Yokozuna steps in the way of the tentacle, the lashing tentacle, to get in the way of the tank, to protect the tank. Oof, and that hits. That's parry DC 23. So that hits Yokozuna. So it's the tentacle slashes across him, and very easily probably would have cut that tank in half. So you're looking at a toughness DC 26, Yokozuna. Nice. Take nothing. It just like goes across your super suit and just kind of puts a little cut
Just
in it.
there with my back to them, arms out to the side, looking over my
Nothing and
shoulder,
leave them
looking like a cool
everything.
after doing a raging demon.
No, wait, that's not right.
All right.
Ballistic absorbing man titties.
That's right. All right. So, what happens? It strikes at Yokozuna and doesn't really do anything. So it's back around to you guys. Who wants to go first?
I'm gonna let him do his thing. I mean, he's having them shoot it. So
Yeah, can we line up and take another shot?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let's do so. I'll just shout again, the commander's voice, again!
Fire again! Fire again! Go ahead and roll your assist.
All right, I gotta get my character sheet back out here so I can see the screen. This is just Dex, right?
Yes.
Okay. We get a 12.
That gives him another +2, so go ahead and make a D20 +5.
Take a shot. Oh, no, I forgot the slash. Gosh damn it. And he gets a 14.
14 on a dodge is a hit.
Okay.
So it's been
Good job, men.
boom, boom. It gets hit again. It wasn't a dead on like center mass of the red glowy part, but it definitely hit it, and it's still pretty weakened. So let's see here. It's going to be a +9 now
For the Red Fest.
for the Red Fest. So it rocks it
Yoko
again. Boom.
needs more power.
So it's now smoking, but and it looks like it's not gonna last much longer.
the power of the
Machismo,
Dark
what are you doing?
Hado.
You got the commander on top of the tank.
Oh yeah. I guess I'll just try to knock him out or something.
Okay, all right. That's just
That's what Mama
Yeah,
said
you
to do.
couldn't get him off.
all right. So Machismo, you're just going to do an unarmed attack on him. So it's your unarmed strike. All right, so you smack him one. You've already got him held, so you really it's just a matter of just not rolling a 1 at this point because he's completely in shock of what the hell's going on.
Yeah, so we're fighting on top of this tank. I'm fighting this normal guy, and everybody's fighting this giant monster.
All right, so he has to make a toughness save DC 15. All right.
Really low.
Oh, natural 20.
Some bullshit. Why did I even get on?
So you smack him across the
It
face, and he
seems
just
like it just needs
spits
to be
his
the
tooth at
adventures
you.
of Yoko
This
and
guy is a
Deception
hard
to
ass.
handle
You
everything.
keep this guy around.
That's why he's a commander.
Yeah. This guy, he needs to be. I need men like this. I need people like this around me.
You're gonna recruit him.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna try and recruit this guy.
Why do you think the crew followed my orders when I gave them to him?
I'm putting this motherfucker in charge of my people. Like this guy.
All right, so Yoko, what are you doing? This thing, it let you go. It swatted at the tank, and you stepped in the way. It looks like it's smoking. Okay. Furious charge again. Okay. So that's going to be Furious. 17 on the die +4 for the charge. That's a 21. That's a hit. And what'd you roll on the dice? Oh, yeah, that is a crit. So,
Oh, yeah.
So that adds 5 to the toughness save. So he needs a toughness 31. And he was hit again. So he only gets a +8 to his roll. Oop, I accidentally rolled a D8 with that. I don't know why. So he needed what did I say? A 30.
It was a big number.
He needed a 31. He rolled a 14. So You furious charge, right into him. Boom.
Nice. Vaporized.
So, and just so the tank fires, boom. Machismo, you're like wrestling with this guy on top of the tank. Yokozuna goes, just furious charge, boom, blows up this gigantic metal tentacled creature, and like little bits of like tentacle confetti is like swirling around Yokozuna as he stands there in his superhero pose.
Nice.
All right, and so just as that happens and everything kind of dissipates, you hear Arctic Flare's voice. Guys, I'm sorry. And then, boom.
Hey, baby, you're dead.
What, the bowl blew up?
So it will transition into post game. What had happened was she went down into that hole where this whatever it was
can't stop. Oh God,
was
please make it
located,
stop. Ah!
and she said it's just like in Barbago. What she's talking about is there's a bomb down here, and it's bigger than the one in Barbago.
Oh, fuck.
Ooh.
And so, boom. So the thing that gave you power, you just encountered another one, but it's bigger. So in game terms, we're not going to jump ahead in time, but what we're going to do is we're going to increase your character's power level by 2.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So so next game session, all the player characters will be power level 10, and we will skip ahead a little bit of time just to kind of work out the story of what
How
happened.
we got back and everything like that.
Well, yeah, because then the challengers would have been gone again for X number of months, and then returned to find out because I'm going to say to you guys, it's only been a matter of moments.
Yeah,
it's when you return. So, yes, give Yoko more power. That's what he needs. All right, so all right, so yeah, I know Brandon, you had a rough day at work, so you weren't really privy to what happened, but came in at the end and showed some
and missed punching a guy. I grabbed a dude. My powers failed. Yeah, I did a whole lot.
So, but we had discussed.
Good game.
We're gonna
Good game.
we're gonna do a little bit of a power, not necessarily a power overhaul, but it'll give you a little bit of extra power points to play with and get some offensive stuff, and whatnot. So, any post game thoughts on the situation? And
yeah, this is a short game, man. It was pretty short.
Well, yeah. But we did our 2-hour our 2-hour time block, and I kind of wanted to set it up for the next session, and you guys are gonna have to start figuring out what. Not that I've been really obvious with the clues and things like that, but I kind of wanted it to transition into a more, not necessarily an investigative game, but just kind of like what the fuck is going on here.
And together they fight crime.
Let's actually be in a social setting and see how well that works out.
Well, and that's the other thing is now that this has happened to you twice, maybe a little bit of social setting and maybe some investigation stuff to kind of even the. I wanted to give you guys a taste of some
combat and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's a superhero. it's a superhero adventure. You're gonna have some fights, but I also wanted to kind of have a little bit of an over the top battle royal kind of thing, and just kind of stretch your legs a little bit to see how it does.
What one of the things that we talked about in the session 0 that I really wanted to see actually happen was some like legit teamwork type things between the heroes that totally happened, at least as far as the deception was concerned, because I did it with Yokozuna and then also with Machismo when he showed up, and that especially that one worked out great because he ripped the commander out of the tank and I jumped in as the commander.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That couldn't have gone better. That was just perfect.
Which is kind of a bizarre sight. It's like the commander's standing there, all of a sudden he gets,
Where'd he go?
Where'd he go? And then he jumps back in, just like immediately. And he's like, turn this thing around.
I'm good. I got nervous, but I'm back.
But so here, so the tank crew, you could tell that they wanted to be heroes, but the chicken shit, overall commander was telling them to pull out. So then when their tank commander was like, let's be a hero, they're like,
yeah. Tank 4 jerks.
Tank 4, a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that's right. Guys.
All right, so moving forward, one of the things that I kind of want to establish, and we'll do this next time, if you truly want to keep and have recruited the tank crew, for not necessarily the tank is lost, but the tank crew for whatever reason, if you want to make one of them like an NPC or something like that, we can totally do that.
I'm legit keeping this guy. I want this dude on my payroll.
He's a hard-ass bastard.
I'm bringing him over.
That's right. It's like, you can't make me come. I got no nuts.
Exactly. He resisted a superpower meant to make him feel pleasure, and he took a punch in the face and was like, whatever.
So
that's a beast.
That's guy. He is a beast. All right. Well, thank you for everybody who watched live, and thank you for those that are watching this after the fact. And thanks for everybody who engaged in the chat. There was a pretty active chat this time, so that was nice to see. And we will see you guys next week on the Challengers.